Okay, I was asked by some friends to come out to a tank farm that they own. It's a remote tank farm, only gets used a few times a year, but they got hit by lightning and it caused some issues. One of the issues it caused a problem with was the top deck here. So we came out earlier and reached out to gas equipment and was talking to the guys about what to check for. And well, right now my power's off. I'm off through my emergency shutdown system, but I'm also, my breaker's locked out, tagged out. Over there was part of a power surge, and here's your power coming in on this top deck. This is a 2019. This top deck was made in 2019. And so my power comes in here, and this backboard, there's really three boards here. My backboard is my power board, and it blew out right in here. When, it fried the power board. And we hoped that the power board was the only issue. Well, it isn't. We're correcting one problem and then finding others. So what we decided to do was get a brand new top deck and then replace. This is a circuit board chassis. We'll be able to see it a little better on the new one here, but this is your power board. This is, they call an I/O board, and then this is their CPU. And there is a SD card goes up here in the CPU that stores data. But we're going to be replacing this as a unit. It's called a circuit board chassis. We'll be replacing it all as one, and then we're going to be replacing this door as well. So to swap out the door, it's not that hard. We will take out this ground screw, which a number 2 Phillips will work, but I usually use a number 3 Phillips on this. And then I can loosen this. That'll loosen the ground. And then, and I'll show you on the other one, but right up here is where my power connection is. Right in there, and that's the sends of power to the door. So I'll disconnect that, get it loose. And then this is a ribbon tape. Well, I'll be able to show you a little better over there, but this ribbon tape has a band of blue here. There's a band of blue right there. The ribbon tape is held in position by just a simple little clamp, which is this metal bar right here. And you can either use a little fine tip screwdriver or a little flat piece of plastic, or use a fingernail. If you got a fingernail, it'll work. And this just hinges up. This little piece of metal, just, see that? It hinged up. Pushes right down to lock, but pushes up, and then you just pull your ribbon tape out. Then when the time comes to put your ribbon tape back in, you just want to get it lined up. And there's not a lot of wiggle room. It's really pretty tight tolerance, but you want to make sure it's fully seated, and just use just enough pressure to hold it in place. And then you just push that bar down and it's locked. So nothing overly complicated about it. So what we're going to do now, we are going to pull that, let that slide, get it out of here. The power here just sends power to the board, but this is what allows everything to communicate between the circuit board chassis and the door, is this tape. So there's some extra wiring compared to what's set up over at my place. Like I said, this is just a tank farm that they use, my friends use for their own personal trucks and their own personal customers. But the electricians ran some extra wires in here so that if they ever do want to update and incorporate more parts, we're basically wired in, because right here's where my conduits are, and all of my conduits have been sealed. So that's why I got a new top deck, but I'm not replacing the top deck, because in order to, because I got a union here, I got some other swivels, I can take this apart, but because this is sealed, you would have to chip out all of the sealant, get all the sealant out of there to pull your wires, and I'm doing them a favor. I'm going to do myself a favor as well and not screw around with all this. So we're going to leave the base body here. The body stays. Everything else, including the door, gets replaced. And I was able to confirm that Top Tech will honor the warranty on the brand new Top Tech unit, even if I do what I'm doing, you know, just leaving the base in here. So my friends won't lose their warranty at all. It's just the reality of what we face. That's what we're going to do. Right here, I took the magnets out of my weights and measures, but this is your weights and measures, and it is right here. It also has two power wires that go back here on the back power board, but they stay in. They'll slide. I'll be able to slide right past that. See that? They're not really connected. So once I get my power loose, then I'll be able to undo a Phillips head, number 2 Phillips head screw there. There's another one right down there. Don't ignore that one. But we want this one here, and we got another one here. Then those are the only 4 that hold circuit board chassis. That's my electricians talking over there in the background. But I'm also not going to disconnect all these wires. I'm just going to pull these out. These are wiring blocks. We're just going to pull them out and get them out of the way. So that'll make reconnecting much, much easier when the time comes. So that's what I'm doing with the old one. To get the door off, oh, another thing I had to do earlier is, in order to keep these wires from being pinched, this plastic clip used to be right here. Well, it would do just like it did in that one video I uploaded, my last one I think on Top Techs. It would want to pinch the wire, so I moved it over to here. I got a backup nut right there, put on that little clip, and then that nut, and that keeps it out of the way. But what I found, best way to take the door off the easiest, and there's no springs in here, there's nothing fancy at all. For something as expensive as a Top Tech, this hinge is about as low tech as it gets. But if you pull these two 7/16 or 1/4 inch bolts out, this whole bottom part is loose, and then you just lift up on the door about 1 inch, and then you get past the pin, and then the whole door comes right off. And then when it comes to resetting the door, you can drop the door here, and this hinge will hold most of the weight while you go and you line the bottom hinge up. And well, when I put this back in, I'm going to lubricate. I'm going to use my silicone lubricant here, and I'm going to lubricate both those little hinges before we put it back in. Here's the brand new Top Tech. Looks exactly like the other one. This is a 2024 Top Tech. So it's a lot less cluttered, it's easier to see. But you see I've got one number 2 Phillips there, another one here, that corner, this corner, and then this whole circuit board chassis will come out. And so we have to get the ribbon tape out, And so I'll disconnect it here, and then I'll disconnect it at the door. And I'm going to be putting in this ribbon tape. I'll be pulling the other one out. And so I'll have to disconnect it here, take the power away from my door, and then let's lift this up. Right here's my power to my weights and measures. So I'll disconnect that and get my weights and measures free that up. I need to get the circuit board chassis out. My goal is also to replace the weights and measures as well, unless it's a bigger problem than I think it is. I think it's going to be pretty straightforward, but we'll see. All that matters is we get this rascal up and running. That might be it for right now. I'm not going to run the video the whole time I do this. Don't want to embarrass myself by showing everybody how long it takes me to do anything. But this blue right here is a Cat 5 wire. And this Cat 5 wire is what interfaces my circuit board chassis with the computer that has the software. And the software compiles all this information and sets it up so it can print a ticket. And so, you know, everybody has to communicate with everybody. So, like I said, the nice thing about this is I can just disconnect my blocks. This is pretty straightforward. This is the only one like it. This one's the only one like it. My only two that are kind of similar are these two blocks. I've taken pictures of these a couple weeks ago when I was out here trying to get it going earlier, but I'll take another picture just to make sure that this one with the ground stays on the outside and this other one goes on the inside. And then you just kind of move your wiring out of the way. So I just thought it would be an interesting thing for you to see. There's my little SD card right there. If things were working like they should, I would, and I'm not smart enough to do it. I'd have Trent or one of the other guys from Gas Equipment would walk me through it, and we would go through the keypad here, and we would tell this unit to save all of its data to that SD card. And then I could transfer this SD card to the new circuit board chassis. And then once I get it all powered up, going, then you come in here and use the keypad and tell the circuit board to download the data from here so that all the parameters, you know, everything from the meter K factor to the meter factor itself to all the other kinds of settings, you know, minimum flow rates, maximum flow rates, whatever alarms you want set up, because this rascal can do way more than what it's being used for. Whatever it is you got done, it could all be transferred from this older unit to the new unit. So not a choice on this one, so it's going to be a lot of hunting and pecking, and it's going to take a while, but once we get powered up, we'll be good though. So also, if you're taking these bolts out, I think I mentioned that on the other video, because we don't want to run the risk of galling any of our threads here. Just use either a simple anti-seize, or you can use, I use that silicone grease, but I also got something, you know, just a little something like that. I had to buy this for something else, and I hardly use it, so I just use it and I'm just carrying it around. But just something to put on your threads here, just to prevent anything from galling. And then on your O-ring, even if all you do is put a little bit of petroleum jelly on your O-ring, but I'm going to use the silicone, just something to help it to seal, and it will extend its life quite a bit. Well, I'm going to cut it short. Electricians are driving over, so that'll be it for now. Okay, I've got it all swapped out. I did move this, try to keep my wire up out of the way, out of the door. I've got my power back in. I've got all my connectors done. Even got my ribbon tape, got that done. This is what the weight and measures look like. So all I had to do is remove the two screws here on the bottom. Those two right there, top part just stays riveted into the body of the unit itself. And now I've got, well, I got to turn the power back on. Had everything working, got power, got lights on inside here. Just waiting on this thing to light up. There we go. So we are about, well, we got this end of things going. Now it's just a matter of tracking down the rest of the system and making sure everything else is communicating. So start to finish, from the time I actually started, was about 20 minutes. I had everything replaced, had everything done. So, and then it took me a little while longer to just, you know, double check myself and go behind, make sure everything looked good. I did put a little bit of silicone lube here on this O-ring. That way we can, you know, keep it in good shape to where it'll seal up nice and easy. So I hope you found this informative and helpful. So if you've got anything to do, if you ever have to get into a top tech, you at least have an idea. And I said the nice thing about it was I was able to replace these blocks, and so I didn't have to undo each individual wire. So that made it a lot easier. So, all right. Thank you.